against Demetriou.
Yeah.
Demetriou's tapping some mana here. Looks like we're seeing probably some equipping here going on as we see Skyrim versus Jensen.
All right, so let's go. Here it comes. William Jensen leads off with a mountain, and so does Frank Scarron.
Yep.
Frank's to the left of your screen. William Jensen is to the right of your screen. Is it Guildgate? And William Jensen will just pass the turn. Let's see if Frank has a turn 2 play or not. I'm thinking probably not. No real actions usually starts until about turn 3.
Yeah, this format, as we've said many times during this, was pretty much just slowed down.
Oh, definitely.
It's just slowed down so much. You see a forest there from Jensen. He just passed the turn back after Scarron does play with Gruul Guildgate, and he passes it back.
All right. So Frank Scarron plays a forest. He's tapping 3 lands, and there's a clue stone. So you guys at home, you guys can follow along. You guys can see which play you would make. See what happens here. Maybe make some predictions. All right. So William Jensen just plays a not so much a grizzly bear, because if you have access to 6 mana, this guy's getting pretty big. It's turning into a 5/5.
And he's got the Kroll Warrior.
Yep, that's exactly it.
So Scarron's going to play a mountain. He's going to tap his Boros, Keyroom, a forest, and a mountain. He's going to play a Centaur Healer. Gain 3 life.
Yeah, solid card. 3/3 gains 3 life. You know, bigger than most of the small creatures in the format.
Yeah. Jensen going to draw a card. See if he's going to make any attacks here. You know, he is green and red, so he can represent Blood Rush now, along with the bevy of pump spells that are available in green.
Yep. All right. So there's an island. William Jensen is tapping 5 mana. Oh wow!
So here's Species
Your favorite
Scorcher.
card.
I'm a pretty big fan of this card. 5 mana, 6/6. Makes you bounce a creature back to your hand every turn. It can be itself, of course.
Yeah.
But you can pick up the Cruel Warrior and start really doing some ridiculous things. But now, Burn is going to kill that, and now Species Scorcher is going to have to pick itself up.
Yeah. So really a good tempo swing for Scarron. Jensen will fall slightly behind here. We'll see if Scarron can capitalize on this.
So he's going to play Keystone. He's going to follow that up with
Hell Giant?
Yeah.
Why not? Hell Giant with Blood Rush?
He's got the Rebel Belt Maka, and he passes the turn back. So Species Scorcher goes back to Jensen's hand now. So Scarron ahead on the board, wasn't able to attack with the Centaur Healer because of the Gorger, so Gorger can kind of play a makeshift wall right now.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it.
Well, six mana here from Jensen. What's he got?
Oh,
all right, so here's the Maze Glider.
3/5 flyer. All your multicolored creatures will gain flying. So right now it's just going to play defense.
Yep.
And it does a fine job as a 3/5 flyer.
Yeah.
Let's see what Scarron wants to do here. Taking a look at Scarron's hand. He's got a couple of options for sure. And he does have access to 7 mana. So both these players, you know, normally on the fast side, they make the decision and they go with it. Let's see what Scarron wants to do.
So here's the Frenzied Tilling.
Frenzied Tilling. What do you think is going to target that? Is it Guildgate? Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's
exactly
got
it. And Frank's going to search up a Plains.
Okay.
So Frank has access to all the mana, all the colors that he really needs.
Frank shuffles deck, presents it over to Jensen.
Jensen gives it a shuffle.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see if Frank has anything else to do this turn, or just probably pass the turn. Probably just pass here, right?
I mean, attacking isn't very good right now. I mean, unless he has a Blood Rush card in his hand or a pump spell, but for some reason it just doesn't feel like he has either of those things, so he's just going to pass it back.
If he had anything, he would have done it before the Frenzy Tilling.
Yeah.
All right, so William Jensen's thinking, what can I do? It looks like he has lots of options as well. I see a Syncopate in his hand. Syncopate's a pretty nice one.
Yeah, I mean, the Syncopate, you know, typically a lot better in the early game. Can't catch a large spell like a Gruul Rage Beast or something like that, depending on what Frank's hand is right now. But I mean, I would be surprised if it has a huge impact on this particular game.
Yeah, especially once Frank, you know, did make a Frenzy Tilling.
Yeah.
So he was allowed to, you know, ramp his mana while eliminating a mana source of William Jensen's. So we'll see what William wants to do here.
You also wonder how backbreaking that Frenzy Tilling is too.
Yeah, I mean, this game I don't think it's going to be that relevant. But I could see a game where Frank Scanlon goes Clue Stone or Key Rune right into a Frenzy Tilling.
Yep.
Why not, right?
So here's a Splatter Thug.
All right.
See if that's going to get unleashed. It does not look like it. Going to follow that up with a Selesnya Guildgate and just pass the turn back. So Scarin's going to draw a card.
Yeah, no unleash there. Do you think he would have unleashed it, or do you like Williams'
Looks
line
like
here?
he's more interested in blocking right now. It looks like he feels like he's on the back foot a little bit here.
Okay. Maybe he thinks if the game goes long, he's going to win.
Yeah.
So
here's a bunch, man. Oh. Is this Syncopate actually going to be good? Oh my god.
that is 1, 2, 3,
Oh
4,
my
5, 6, 7, 8.
goodness. Catch and release. Oh my god.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is. I think this is going to get syncopated.
Yeah, it was definitely going to get syncopated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Williams probably saying, just name your target.
Yeah, oh my god. Syncopate's going to
syncopated.
exile that and pass the turn back.
And Frank probably thought he was going to be in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, hard not to.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, there it is, syncopate.
Wow.
You gotta love syncopate.
So now in comes the Maze Glider for 3 in the air.
What else does William Jetson have?
I know he has a Species Gorging in reserve. Just does he want to cast that, or does he want to further this board along more? All right, he's reaching here for 5 mana. Yep, and there is your Species Gorger. So the 6/6 is back now.
Yep.
And Jensen plays a land and passes the turn.
Now it looks like Frank's behind. He's facing down some big creatures, and what does he have? He just has a couple of 3/3s. Sure, he has lots of lands, but he's gonna have to start sacrificing those clue stones to try to get something that he needs for him to progress his game. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is why you play him, right? You play him because you want to ramp your mana, but late game you play him because you want to cash him in for a new card.
Yep.
All right, so he's sacrificing the first one. Frank will draw. It looks like he just drew a forest. Not really what he wants. Do you think he'll sacrifice the other one?
The other one up there is a Boros Keyrune.
Sure.
So,
I mean, do you think he's gonna sack it?
I don't think he's gonna.
Oh, it's a Boros Keyrune.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, it looks like a clue stone from here.
So Explosive Impact is going to take care of the Maze Glider.
Sure. And Frank cannot make any good attacks here.
Nope.
Splatter Thug will be returned to Jensen's hand.
Species Gorger at the ready to attack here. Scarin can trade both of his guys for the Species Gorger.
I kind of like the attack here. What do you think? If you're Jensen, do you want to attack or no?
Yeah, I think I want to attack and offer up the 2-for-1.
Yeah.
And does he believe that I don't have a trick either? I think overall the stack is pretty good. And Scarin says, yeah, I can't really try to block here. I'll take 6. I'll go to 14. Jensen's going to move to a second main phase here. We'll see what creatures he does play. As he does have a Krakenor in his hand to go along with a Splatter Thug, excuse me. As we do have an update here. Joe Demestro up 1-0 versus Reed Duke. So there is a Krakenora. Follow that up with a Splatter Thug.
Do you think you unleash it now?
Looks like he's going to.
All right, he does.
So Evolve plus Unleash. Dice go on those guys, and Jensen's going to pass the turn back. So Scarin's going to untap. He's going to draw, staring down a 2/4 Krakenora and a 3/3 Unleashed Splatter Thug. So that thing cannot block.
Okay. So Frank Scarin still just with a couple of ground guys, and he's attacking with both his guys here.
I mean, it's just a way. It's just a way to push through 3 points of damage. I mean, Splatter Thug can't block.
I mean, but I guess Frank has no interest of trying to block here.
Yeah.
There's a Swift Justice. Okay. Looks like Jensen gave the thumbs up there.
Yep. So Swift Justice is going to make the Rubble Belt Naka a 4/3 with First Strike and Lifelink. Going to gain a little bit of life back. Going to follow that up with a Night Watch. So we do have another update here. Alec Nesvin is up 1-0 over Owen Turtenwald. So Nesvin, Scarin, and Demestro currently up right now. Scarin having a little bit of trouble this game, I think, but he is trying to come back.
Yeah. I think Jensen's in pretty good shape. I would rather be on Jensen's side of the board right now than Scarin's. But the game will continue, and there'll probably be a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, does Jensen attack, or does he just leave it back? I think he just wants to leave it back. Attacking is probably not the worst thing in the world.
I mean, it depends on the contents of his hand. Of course, we know there's a Splatter Thug there that he cannot unleash, but then Splatter Thug, if he attacks the Species Gorger, plays Splatter Thug, doesn't unleash it, then, the Splatter Thug does not line up well against the Centaur Healer or the Rubber Belt Maka. So I think that Species Gorger might want to play a little bit of defense this go around.
Okay, that's fair.
You see Jensen's hand right now. I think we see a Cluestone over there, along with that Splatter Thug, and I think a land, but he is reaching for mana right now. So 3 mana. There's a Boros Cluestone in his hand. There's the Boros Cluestone.
Okay.
Time to draw a card.
We'll draw.
It's a forest. He plays a mountain. He plays a Splatter Thug. Last card in his hand is a forest. No unleash and just pass the turn back. So Scarron is slowly but surely coming back here. As Jensen's kind of flooding out a little bit.
Ooh, what was that? That looked like a spell. Let's see. Okay.
Current Striker. Okay.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good draw right now.
Yeah.
Battalion on that card is very realistic, making so Species Gorger can't block and get a lot of damage through. Jensen draws a card. Looked like maybe that was an Azorius Charm potentially.
It was something.
Yeah, didn't get a great look at it. As you see, Jensen does have an island and a Celestian Guildgate in place, so he does have access to the mana for Azorius Charm, if that's what it was. We've also additionally, Gerard, seen a blue spell from Huey in Syncopate and Species Gorger. So.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised to see Huey being playing this deck.
Yeah.
His type of deck, his type of style of deck, and yeah, we'll see if he could defeat Frank Scarron in this match or not. So a lot of thinking going on. Scarron has 2, 5, 8, 10, 12. He has 12 power on the table. All right. Jensen still has 17 life, so Frank's not there yet, but he's trying to work his way there. I guess he also has that key rune, so that's 14 damage.
Yeah.
If you're counting that.
Let's see what Scarron draws for the turn.
Yeah, hopefully a spell. That's what he's hoping for.
Yeah. You see him reaching for the mana there. It looks like he might be reaching there for the key rune, but now he's going to be coming in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the creatures are going to attack. Current Striker's Battalion ability is going to go on. He's going to target the Species Gorger. Here he says, alright, put Splatter Thug in front of your Current Striker. My guy has first strike. Resolve that first strike damage. Regular damage, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Followed up with a Horn-Caller's Chant.
Yeah, I was wondering why they did not attack with that Boros key rune, and that's exactly why.
So now 2 4/4 Rhinos are going to come into play. This card, an 8-mana spell that was too slow for Return to Ravnica ×3,
yeah,
might see a little bit more play now.
Definitely. Now that's definitely a powerful card for Frank, and if Jensen doesn't have anything, he's in trouble, and he's going to be facing down lethal damage next turn.
So Rhino tokens are coming in. There's those 4/4s.
So we're about to find out within the next minute or so. Does William Jensen have another blocker? Does he have a trick? Does he have something that will allow him to survive? Or is Frank Scarron going to, win the first game like both his teammates did?
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's your 4/4s there for representation. Gonna fire up the Boros key rune.
Yeah, I think Frank just wants to get in with everything.
I think it's everybody time. Yep, so here he comes.
And let's see if William has anything or not.
Yeah, let's see. How does this backfire? It doesn't. And Mr. Scarron is up a game as well. So 1-1-1 for Nezin, Scarron, and Demestrio.
Maybe it could be Hawaii 5-0 the other way.
Potential to be that.
Yeah. It's still a possibility.
Yeah.
It's still in the range of possibilities. All right, so you're probably not gonna see too much sideboarding. I was kind of surprised that Frank didn't want that. That's
presence in his main.
Yeah, that's presence in the main.
Yeah.
I do really like it. It seems like it'd be good against a couple of these decks.
We're going to cut in the Turtonwall Nezin match here. Turtonwall going to be untapping. Let's bring you into the game state here. You see a Vassal Soul with an Agoraphobia on it, an Azorius Arrestor, and a Prophetic Prism in play for Owen with all planes. So that Prophetic Prism is working overtime. On Nezin's side, again, he is up a game. You see a Seller of Songbirds, you see a Bird Token, and you see that new blue card from
05 Defender.
It is the 05 Defender.
Doesn't really do too much, but some people like it.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen in the Murmuring Phantasm, I mean, he is Nezin, very happy to play defensive decks. We saw a deck earlier for him in his Steel deck where he had Hoverberry, he had Clinging Anomalies as well, so he likes to play a defensive deck. As Turtonwall comes out here with a Mountain, has his Warmind Infantry get canceled, but does have the Viashino Stalker here that's going to be coming across.
Yeah, so Turnwall was about to attack, and then he wants to think twice about it. I think I see a Madcap skills in his hand. Well, I could be mistaken. It's late, and Owen shuffling his cards pretty quick on Turnwall.
Yeah, you're taking a look at there. He's going to play a Precinct Captain right now.
Okay, that's definitely fair.
Yeah, he's going to pass the turn back.
Do you see that right card in Owen's hand?
Yeah.
What is it? Do you know?
Yeah, it's Punish the Enemy.
Oh, it's Punish the Enemy?
Yeah.
Okay, Punish the Enemy, 3 damage target player, 3 damage target creature for 5 mana as an instant speed.
And it's going to be a little bit better now because, Nezin is going to play Knightly Valor on his bird token from Settle the Songbirds. Probably get in the air a little bit here. Potentially. I mean, the problem here is if he attacks, the Vassal Soul blocks, Nezin loses his Agoraphobia, so it may not be the best attack right now.
Okay.
But, he does get the 2/2 Soldier token, or excuse me, 2/2 Knight token that does have Vigilance from the Knightly Valor. So he's starting to gum up the board a little bit here, but Turtle is threatening to kind of break through, and you do see the attack here. With the bird token, Vassal Soul's going to block, and Glory Flipper is going to go to the graveyard as Turtle's going to draw a card, and it is a True Fire Paladin to go along with 2 copies of Serve and Protect. Or Protect and Serve, excuse me. And now Turtle's going to turn these guys sideways.
Yeah, he's going to come in. Doesn't have good blocks here or no?
I mean, the 0-5 on the Precinct Captain is a pretty simple block. There's your Knight going to get in front of the Viashino. Stellar Songbird is going to get in front of the Azorius Arrestor.
Sure. So, we'll see how this game progresses here. What do you think about the Precinct Captain? Big fan of it or no?
No, I don't like it very much at all. The guys that it make are mostly relevant.
Okay.
A 2/2, with First Strike is fairly relevant as well. It takes a lot of work to get through. It's the same reason I don't like Stealer Secrets, which is basically a 3-mana version of this card. You're doing a lot of work to be able to get said card through. Because now you're going to see Turtenwald cast Protect and Serve here, fuse that, give his Viashino +2/+2, give the Stellar Songbirds -6/-0, and now Nezin is going to come in for 3 in the air, it looks like here, with the bird token. He plays a 6 land, which is a swamp, and let's see if he has a follow-up, and he does in the form of Ubis Protector, so he's going to get that 6-mana 1/1 and the token that does come along with it.
Yeah, and that card is just awesome, because you would just play 6-mana 4/4 flyer, and now you kind of get a free roll. You could have some nice combos with something like Dramatic Rescue, Civic Charm, what have you.
Yeah,
Keymaster Rogue.
A lot of ways to make that card better, especially with all the sets being available. It was a kind of a role player in Gatecrash limited, but it's probably only gotten better moving forward. Again, we talked about it ad nauseum this weekend, format getting a bit slower, but Turtenwald's going to speed it up because here comes the Viashino, here comes the Arrestor and the Precinct Captain again. Let's see how Nezin wants to block this turn, because he's just seen 1 Protect and Serve, and he's probably thinking to himself, does Turtenwald have another one of those?
And the answer is yes, he does. Yeah. But I mean, Nezin doesn't know this for sure.
Yeah, so Arrestor's going to try. The Arrestor's going to block there. Viashino's going to get 2 points of damage through. Precinct Captain is going to bounce off the glider. Here is a Punish the Enemy. There goes your bird token with Knightly Valor. Nezin's going to take 3 from that as well. So he's going to come across for 4.
All right, why not? I mean, both players had a high life total, right? There's been a lot of attacking going on, but there's also been a lot of blocking.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of exchanges in combat here, as Turtenwald's going to draw a card. Again, he does have the True Fire Paladin, he does have the Protect and Serve, and he is moving it again. And now here's a Skyline Predator. 3/4 Flash is going to jump in here. Let's see how effective this can be.
That's a card probably a lot of people forgot about.
Yeah.
Uncommon from Return to Ravnica. Haven't really played Return to Ravnica in a while.
Yep.
So, definitely an interesting card.
So now here's the Protect and Serve, +2/+4, going to take care of the Skyline Predator. Turtenwald, in his second main phase, going to play True Fire Paladin and pass the turn back. So Turtenwald's tricks are actually working pretty well. It makes you wonder if Nezin's going to slow down with that 4/4 Angel, if he's just going to keep on bashing in and hope that his blocks without that 4/4 Angel are going to be good, because the past couple turns they have not been.
Yeah, it's kind of close. I could see him attacking. I don't think it would be like that. Overall, it's just close. Not much more to say about it than that.
So here's a Clue Stone here from Nezin.
Okay. Do you think it's more important to cycle or to build up his mana, Cedric?
I mean, depending on the cards in his hand right now, you don't get a good look in Nezin's hand. He's shuffling those cards very quickly here, but cycling on the main phase doesn't make much sense. Leaves you with the blue mana open. Yes, maybe you can hit a land drop, but you'd rather cycle on the end step. Represent a couple different things here. 4 mana with blue, white, and red represents a lot of different things. Gives Turtenwald some things to think about here.
Yeah. So that True Fire Paladin is dangerous. Although Owen only has one mountain, he has the prison.
Yep. So you can get some activations off of this. So now the Angel's going to jump in the way. And now if you're Turtenwald, you're a little bit scared, right? Because you're almost certain that Nezen does see the opportunity here. So he's going to give it +2/+0. He's going to pass priority. Here's an Orzhov. Here's, excuse me,
Orzhov
an
charm,
Orzhov charm.
Okay, so Nezen's going to lose 2 life, I believe?
Yep. In response to the pump, he does take care of the True Fire Paladin. Turtenwald follows that up there with a Zada Snare Squad, and passes the turn back. That card is a mouthful to say. This one, except for Skywatch, is not difficult to pronounce. He's going to stop that. He's going to come across for 4 in the air, and you can see Nezen really prefers to play these control-style decks in draft. His steel deck was very much like this deck that we saw.
Yeah, I agree. Now, do you think anybody has a distinct advantage, or is it just way too early? Life totals are way too close.
I think this game is certainly in Nezen's favor right now.
Okay.
Turtenwald has burned most of his tricks. He's going to come in again here. Of course, the Snare Squad's not going to be able to get in because it has been detained. You see Nezen's more than happy just to block the Precinct Captain, take 2, move to 13, use his life total as a resource. As you see in Turtenwald's hand, he does have the Blind Obedience. He also has the Phantom General. He's empty-handed. He's going to pass the turn back. And if you're Nezen, now you can come to a decision about what to do because all of Turtenwald's cards are on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I spoke with Frank and his team, and I said, hey, that Blind Obedience went really late. And they're like, yeah, we don't think it's good. I mean, I think it's good. Turtenwald certainly thinks it's good because it's in his deck, and it's in play right now for him.
You see Kingpin's Pet's going to come into play tap. Pilfered Plans, it's going to mill Turtenwald 2 cards there. It's going to draw Nezen another card. He's going to come across for, looks to be potentially 7 in the air. You know, how aggressive does he want to be here? Because an attack for 7, you see Pilfered Plans on there on the screen. A Divination that's going to be able to mill either player. It does target a player here. He's going to come across for 7. Looks like Turtenwald's going to go down to 1. So he's going to untap his permanents here. Again, Nezen at a pretty healthy 12 life with 1 blocker. Is there anything Turtenwald can do to get himself out of this situation? As long as our life totals are correct.
You always got to think about it. He does have some guys down. The problem is that Nezen has a army of flyers.
Yep.
That's the real problem.
Life total is correct. It was 12-1. Turtenwald drew a land, concedes the game, so Alec Nezen is going to win this match. His team up 1-0 in this best of 9. As you see, Jensen versus Scaren. Jensen has tied it up, so it's 1-1 there. So it looks like we may cut to the Mestrio Duke match.
Sure, that can make some sense. It looks like the Mestrio is up a game. All right, versus Reed Duke. Looks like Reed Duke was kind of confirming the life totals there. As you can see from our camera angle, he suggested, you know, hey, this is my life, this is your life, just confirming, something you should always do. All right, so as you can see, ooh, wow, Angelic Skirmisher.
Yeah, so we cut into a pretty complicated board state here. We'll look at Duke's first. He has a Centaur token. You also see a Slime token with 2 counters on it, probably from may have been from a Slime Molly, not entirely sure. You also see a Rebel Belt Rhino and a Desecration Demon with 2 counters on it as well. You look at Demestrio's side, you see a Blood Scrivener, you see a Zerachi Tiger, you see an Angelic Skirmisher with a Riot Gear on it. You also see an Ogre Jailbreaker with 2 guild gates in play, so that thing's going to be able to attack. And now you see Duke coming across here with that Slime token, so we'll see if Demestrio wants to take the opportunity to block here.
Do you think Demestrio should block? Well, I mean, he is at 21 life here.
Yep.
You know? So, do we know what he named with Angelic Skirmisher?
Yeah, that's the question, and we're going to have to keep that updated every time Skirmisher does have the opportunity to be used, because it's this multiple ability that gets named on each combat here.
Yeah. I feel like most of the time when you're on defense, you just want to name First Strike.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense. And when you're on offense, it's either Vigilance, depending, or Lifelink.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Demestrio is at 21 life. Does he care about getting some more life? It's nice, too. It's not the best thing in the world, though. So, you see Demestrio. He's mostly a Orzhov deck, doing a little splashing. And we'll see how this game plays out. So the Ivy League Denizen, will be able to put counters on pretty much anything Reed wants to put counters on.
Yep.
So Reed Duke on the right side of the screen, he does have a Desecration Demon. That was his first pick out of the Return to Ravnica booster pack, and it's a really powerful card.
Yeah. Angelic Skirmisher is trying to stand tall right now, and you see Demestrio kind of, waving his hands in there, trying to figure out what am I supposed to do this turn, because it's certainly a difficult turn. As you see, Zerachi Tiger is going to come back into play here, a second copy. He has 2 copies in his main deck here. So after he taps his mana, we'll figure out what the Angelic Skirmisher activation is going to be on here for combat, if he's even going to attack at all.
Sure, so...
Yep, so what he's going to do here is he's going to sacrifice the Zerachi Tiger. Desecration Demon can't block. Here comes the Skirmisher yet again. He names Lifelink here. And now, so what you see here is an 8/8 Desecration Demon, and we'll figure out what those slime tokens are. I think it's 8 counters on there?
8/8 with 2+1/+1 counters.
Okay, so it's an 8/8 with 2+1/+1 counters.
Okay.
So it's just a 10/10, no big.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Alright, Duke draws for his turn. Duke down to just 6 life. He's going to have to find an answer to Angelic Skirmisher, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, the way that things look right now, you know, you see Dymestrio moving his riot gear around. Now it's over on that Ogre Jailbreaker. Reed doesn't have very many good attacks. As you see Skirmisher on the screen, gaining Dymestrio life. Going to give first strike on the back end of combat again because it is each combat. But the thing that's important here is that Duke only has 1 flyer in play. That's the Desecration Demon, and Dymestrio can control that card.
Okay. Yeah, definitely is just such a powerful card, really. You know, 6 mana, 4/4 flyer. And it's so much the fact that the ability is just so great.
Yep.
It really is. All right, so Reed Duke down a game. Now, each player will actually finish their match. So even if Dymestrio were to win, it just wouldn't be 2-3 and Scarron and Jensen wouldn't finish.
Yep.
They would finish right now.
Yep.
So we could always cut back to that match when we need to. But for now, we're going to stay with the Joe Dymestrio Reed Duke match here in the finals of SCG Open in Somerset, New Jersey.
So in comes the Desecration Demon, because it is going to get sacrificed. Something's going to get sacrificed anyway, so Reed's thinking I might as well get my damage in while I can. Also, that Giant Ooze comes in here now as well. Now you're going to see a Morgue Burst take out the Angelic Skirmisher, bring back the Zartu Swine, and if Dymestrio doesn't move that equipment over, maybe that never happens, but as a result, the Skirmisher goes down. The Swine comes back to Reed's hand, a fantastic Morgue Burst there, and now Blood Scrivener is going to allow Dymestrio to draw 2 cards with no cards in his hand. So here's 1, here's 2. He does lose a life, excuse me, to do that. So let's see if these 2 cards are helpful, because it looked like he was riding that Angelic Skirmisher to victory, and he can no longer do that.
Yeah, it's definitely Joe's most powerful card in his deck.
Yeah.
You know, after looking at his deck, I do really like Underworld Connections, but it doesn't really have the same power level of it as Angelic Skirmisher. Alright, so there's a 2/3 flyer for Joe.
Yep, there's your Rakdos Strike. He's going to unleash that. But, I mean, Joe is in just a much worse situation than he was when we cut into this game. When we cut into this game, you saw Angelic Skirmisher taking over the game on its own.
Okay.
You know, he was doing a lot of work to be able to push that through, but instead now that died to the Morgue Burst. Reed has the Swine in his hand with the Blood Rush at the ready. Potentially could also just cast it, move an Ivy Lane Denizen counter onto something. But it's going to be a very, very tough game for Dymestrio to win now, because now he actually has to consider containing that Desecration Demon on defense. He was containing it on offense and using it against Reed. Now he has to stop it from attacking him.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, a good shot of the board right now. I think he's just going to have to sacrifice. Duke's going to say, you know, declare my attack step. I think Dymestrio just has to tap it down. Is Dymestrio's plan trying to swing into... I don't know where Dymestrio stands here.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way for him to really get through this board. So he's going to sacrifice, you know, the Selesnya Elephant there to tap, the Desecration Demon. But, you know, how much does that accomplish here? Because, you know, if you're tapping those guys, you're going to run out eventually. And by the way, Reed has plenty of other guys to attack with, as you see him turn all of those guys sideways. So as useful as that card may have been, tapping down the Desecration Demon with the Selesnya Century, again, Reed has the Swine in his hand with Blood Rush at the ready.
Sure.
So what kind of good blocks does Joe have? Because again, Joe has no cards in his hand.
Yeah, and why did Joe just unleash his guy? What was the purpose?
Yeah, that's the big question to me.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so there's a Swine and there's lethal attack. So, you know, Dymestrio, maybe the unleashing was a pretty bad idea. Maybe, you know, he's hoping that Reed makes a mistake with an attack, and maybe that Dymestrio felt that gives him the best chance to win.
Okay.
But not a victory for Joe there. So they're going to be going to a third game, as we're likely going to cut over to the Scarron versus Jensen match now. Get our life totals updated. You guys can probably take a look at these guys sideboard briefly before we do cut over.
Yeah, so he had the Rakdos Drake. He wanted to unleash it and make it a 2-3, but either way, it wouldn't have mattered. So we'll. Okay. So we have Frank Scarron and William Jensen here.
So we cut into this match. Let's analyze the board states here. You see on Jensen's side, he's tapped 5 mana. It looks like probably for a Species Gorger. You're also going to see a Splatter Thug that's tapped that does have Unleashed. Both players hands back and forth a little bit here as there's a Homing Lightning, it looks like, on the stack. Figuring out what that's targeting. It looks like both players don't agree on what's going on here.
There's maybe some confusion.
As we see an Assemble the Legion there for Scarron that does have 2 tokens. You see now both players are kind of untapping lands, explaining things to the judge here, it looks like. So we'll figure out exactly what's going on if we're going to back up the game. Looks like there's a little bit of a disagreement between the players. But you see Assemble the Legion in play with 2 counters. You see the Boros Key Rune. You see the Cluestone there among Scarron's lands. You also see a Guildgate there in Selesnya Guildgate. So we'll figure out what the players look to be disagreeing on here.
Yeah, it seems something maybe Jensen thought maybe Scarron passed the turn, and Scarron saying, no, I wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes could be some confusion there. Because I'm not sure why Scarron would just show him the Horned Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is that the Homing Lightning is going to take care of the Splatter Thug to make it so the Species Gorger has to pick itself up. Something that we saw Frank accomplish in Game 1 when we tuned into this match, is making the Species Gorger, have to pick itself up is detrimental to that card and detrimental to Jensen's game plan. So maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication. It looks like there's a small dispute on when the Homing Lightning was cast. So I'm sure as the judge makes his ruling and we figure out exactly when that takes place, we'll certainly let you guys know at home.
All right, well, definitely reasonable. The judges are there for a reason.
Yeah.
They'll decide, you know, what happened. One guy might have thought that, one guy might have thought this, and they're going to resolve and they'll continue to play.
Yeah, so, and what it looks like the dispute here is that, you know, Jensen plays the Species Gorger and presses the turn back, and Scarron may have untapped his lands and then said, hold on, I'm not actually done yet, I want to Homing Lightning your guy, and Jensen's saying, well, you untapped your 3 lands already, so that means that, you know, you're in your untap step on your turn, you can't go back there. So, you know, we'll get a judge's ruling on exactly what's going to take place here. As you do see Reed Duke shuffling, Owen patiently waiting for his next match, trying to help out both Duke and Jensen here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so there's head judge Steven Zwagner, and he'll make his final ruling. He'll get some additional information if need be, and they'll continue playing. All right, so Joe and Reed Duke, they're going to Game 3. You know, Game 3s are always exciting. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes Game 3, you have the option to play or draw. Sometimes people draw. I know it happens to me a lot because I don't want to have to mulligan. Yeah. I want my opponent to mulligan.
But it looks like, you know, Demestro's deck is a little bit aggressive. You know, again, his card quality isn't that high, and Reed's Duke, as we've seen out over his draft when he was building his deck, is that his deck does not want to get run over, as Reed's going to take a mulligan down to at least 6 series and pile shuffling very, very quickly. You know, it looks like Demestro is, I mean, he might be happy with his hand. You really can't get a read on him here.
He's tired. He looks tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long day.
Yeah, it really has. All right. So Reed just pretty much immediately shipped back to his first 7. He knows what he needs, he knows what he wants, and it wasn't there, so now he's going to draw 6. But he's still with a big smile on his face. And Frank and William are still discussing exactly what happened to the judge, and the judge is just kind of getting all the information that he could gain before he makes his final decision. Now, normally when you go to a tournament, there'll be a couple of judges, you have a rules question, something happened, a judge will come over, and you can always appeal to the head judge. The only thing is, when the head judge is giving the ruling, there's nobody to appeal to. All right, so Reed's showing a 6-card hand, and Reed kind of nods and he says, hey, you know what, I'm going to keep the 6-card hand.
So both players are underway there. I think we'll cut over to the Mestro and Duke game here while the judge's ruling is taking place. Mestro's going to come out here with a Blood Scrivener.
Yeah.
So he's got a 2-1 on the table already. And again, we know that Reed's Duke does not have any 2-drops.
Yeah,
Reed's deck, does not have any 2-drops in it.
Yeah, Reed's deck is powerful, but it is slow.
Yep.
That's the one thing. And Demestrio probably knows this, and wow, he's going on the offense.
Yeah, he's got a Fencing Ace to follow up with here as well. So we'll see if he has any way to kind of pump up the jam on the Fencing Ace right now. You see an Eyes of the Sky in his hand and a couple of lands. He also does have an Ogre Gate Crasher there, or Gatekeeper, excuse me.
Sure.
So he can
Jailbreaker.
The Jailbreaker. Yeah. Thank you. So he can push through even more damage that way.
Okay. Yeah, and he does have the Guildgate, which you need to be able to make that lose defender. Yep. So there's Stab Wound.
Yeah, Stab Wound takes care of the Blood Scrivener. In for 2, he comes with the 1/1 Double Striker. And I think we're going to see a jailbreaker.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jailbreaker is probably the play here.
He's got the Guild Gate, so it's a 4-4 for 4.
Okay.
This Duke's going to untap, he's going to draw. Let's see what he's able to come with on this turn.
It looks like he drew a Forest this turn. Not sure if he needs it or not. Reed's holding his hand up pretty high. And he's thinking about it. Ooh, okay, so it's Toil and Trouble. He's only going to be able to play half of that. He's going to lose 2 life and draw 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean that's a more expensive and just. I mean that's Signing Blood there, but this is a bad time to be casting Signing Blood.
I mean, this makes Duke pretty much unmulligan. The only problem is that he's way behind now.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to fall to 8 life.
Yep. And the card that he plays on his turn is actually pretty good.
Wow.
As Demestrio draws his card for the turn.
Yeah.
And that looked like a
Knightly Valor. That's what I was going to say. That would be awesome to put on the Fencing Ace right now. You just bash in, bring Reed Duke to 4 life, and you're able to get another guy out of it.
Yeah, no, if that was Knightly Valor, which it may not have been, as he's going to come across for Jeff, next going to put Duke down to 8. We do know, again, that Demestrio does have an Eyes in the Sky in his hand.
Okay. It did look like a Knightly Valor, though.
But here's a Plains.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just it's the Celestial Entry.
Okay. Yeah, normally
it's the Celestial Entry, excuse me. So they do actually look kind of alike. It's just a 3-2 for 2. So he's going to keep giving the beats here.
Normally that card would be better in like a white-green deck, but if you notice, Demestrio does have the green-white Guild Gate, so he's able to have green mana.
He can regenerate.
Yeah, for sure.
So Demestrio is going to draw a card here. He does have a 6 land for a generation if necessary in his hand. As a rule, that Rhino is what Duke is going to try to use to stabilize here. There's your 6 land. Here's your attack.
And what can Reed Duke really do? What can he do? Well, he's going to make that block right there.
Yep, takes care of the Fencing Ace. He's going to end up taking 7. He's going to be on a 1. He's going to pass the turn.
Yeah, he's down to 1 life. Reed draws for the turn. Weighing his option. He does have 6 cards in his hand, right? So he's going to have something.
Yeah.
You know, he's double checking with Owen.
Yeah, you see Turtenwald asking, you know, what should he do here? You know, Huey also kind of check in as well. But what we know here, and you guys do know at home as well, is that Demestrio has an Eyes in the Sky in his hand that's just looming, and you see that Duke has no blockers in the air. There's a Dead Reveler. He can't unleash it. Here's a Miming Salute. There's the Eyes in the Sky. I'm flying over to finish this one off.
Yeah.
So
wow,
you see
3-0.
Duke extend the hand. Demestrio is going to win this match 2-1. We have the update here. You guys can see in the middle screen. Scarin defeats William Jensen 2-1. So in what I think a lot of people would have assumed Turtenwald, Jensen, and Duke would be maybe crushing Nezin, Scarin, and Demestrio, these 3 have their back against the wall right now.
Yeah, definitely. It could be a Y50 the other way.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, I saw Demestrio's deck, I saw Frank Scarin's deck, I saw Alec's deck. They weren't too happy. Alec was the only one who was really happy with his deck. But Demestrio and Frank both also won.
Yep.
So definitely a solid showing. And I think we're going to come back to ourselves.